Hello and welcome back, fellow Switch bargain hunters. With summer fast approaching, our friends at Qubic Games have a red hot sale underway until the 20th of June, and there is something for everyone to enjoy on your Switch. You can check out the full list of games over at their website, and the link is in the description below. For now, we've handpicked our favourites, so let's jump in and take a look. Summer is on. Now I'm kicking things off with decks. You might notice on some of these games the prices might be even slightly cheaper than on the screen right now if you already own certain Qubic games when you load them up on your Switch, so happy days there. Decks is a side-scrolling RPG with bags of character and lots of nice mechanics, from narrative choices that are well voiced to a deep leveling system. This one has a mature, cyberpunk neo-noir style that is dark and gripping, with an open world and the freedom to customize your character to suit your playstyle, whether that is lurking in the shadows, diving in guns blazing, or being a hacker, for example. It's a big, ambitious project that's well worth checking out. Next up, Blazing Beaks is a great little game to play with friends. This one's a real gem. Levels are randomly generated and you can play story mode with a friend cooperatively. You can play it as alone as well, and to be fair, it's fun there too. Either way, it's a blast. If you want to compete against those friends of yours, then there is a tournament mode to test your skills against each other in. For us, we loved how simple it was to pick up and play and get into, and yet it's difficult to master. Blasting foes is super fun. It's a really strong pick at a really brilliant price point right now. In Tools Up, the premise is simple enough. You are a crew of renovators up against the clock to get the job done by painting, stripping wallpaper, and various other handy jobs. The challenge comes in working together to do things efficiently by spreading the workload and, of course, avoiding the lava snow and other elemental challenges. This is most certainly a couch co-op game. If you like Overcooked, then this will be both familiar and a game that you will enjoy, and there's lots of new content being added to this one at all times. Now, switching gears, there's something a little bit different here. This game has only just come out. It was released on the 4th of June. Now, have you ever played the old puzzle games in which you had to find all the differences? Well, Tiny Lands uses the basic concept of this idea, but with a bit of a twist. This is a relaxing puzzle game with some cool features. If you're looking for a game which allows you to just sit back and play and enjoy, then Tiny Lands is for you. You get to rotate the lovely little 3D environment to spot those differences, and this is just the perfect game by the pool this summer, especially as it has a nice little 20% launch sale on as well. And another game coming out soon. This one's coming out on the 2nd of July. Epistory immerses you in an atmospheric action-adventure game where you play a girl riding a giant fox who fights an insectile corruption in an origami world. It's very cool. As you progress and explore this world, the story literally unfolds and the mysteries of the magic power of the words are revealed. It looks to be a really interesting tale. I've not tried this one, but I'm quite intrigued, and it got some RPG elements as well. And it's a cool take on a typing game. You can get your hands on this one, as I said, from the 2nd of July, but you can pre-order it now. HyperParasite is a cyberpunk roguelike twin-stick game that offers something different. An alien parasite has invaded Earth, and you play as the parasite against those puny little humans and its defences. Whilst in the original parasite form you're weak, you need to patiently infect and take over hosts, which you can then unlock for future runs, getting you stronger and tougher. It is tough at first until you get strong enough, and then you start to rampage those human defences. The graphics and audio are nothing to write home about, but this is a really fun game and it's a nice twist on the genre. I definitely consider this one. The Bit.trip series revolves around the blocky commander video in the first 6 titles from that series. These were originally released on the Wii and are a whole lot of fun. Each of the games is quirky, and the general thread putting them together is platforming and rhythm-based gameplay. You might recall these games were released together as a complete compilation on the Wii, but instead here we have the choice to pick up each of the titles, and my favourite of the bunch is Bit.trip Runner, which combined both platforming and rhythm gameplay perfectly in an explosive and fast-paced platformer. If you thought we were done with these cyberpunk games, then you are wrong. Akane is next, and this is a little gem. It has the simplest gameplay, but manages to be highly addictive and really fun to play. You control Akane, a badass katana-wielding heroine that is making her last stand against the Yakuza in an arena where one hits death, either for you or your foes. The beauty of the game is the superb controls and the dynamic of sticking and shooting those enemies. Combat becomes almost rhythmic as you hack your way through the hordes. There are a few things to unlock and leaderboards to keep you going as well, and I just really love the cyberpunk style from the neon lights to the enemy designs. It's very cool. Check out our review of this one by clicking up at the top right hand corner. Now up next, it's Mana Spark. This is a challenging action RPG with skill-based, tough combat and roguelike elements where you explore a dreadful dungeon and fight smart enemies that will plan and collaborate between themselves to defeat you. What's nice is that each room is handcrafted, striking a balance between randomness and strong design. The combat is skill-based and you will need to learn enemy patterns in order to succeed. There is a good combination of permanent and in-run upgrades, and altogether this is a really fun dungeon runner, and with 90% off you really can't go wrong here. It's less than £1 right now. Space Pioneer is next, and this is another twin-stick shooter, but it's set across a number of worlds. You get to visit different planets for each level and take down a horde of alien enemies while succeeding at objectives from escorting people to taking out alien nests. The mechanics and controls are tight, and you can tackle the game with friends in cart mode or alone. It's got a really cool style about it. It's a sci-fi world-hopping twin-stick shooter with decent controls, and it's definitely worth investigating. Pocket Mini Golf is a chilled out, relaxed game. If you're after an epic and tough golf sim, then this is the opposite. It's not the one for you. No, this is a nice, simple game that you can stick some tunes on and relax with. There are over 50 levels as well as local play for up to 4 of you if you have some mates come over as well, and it's just a good chilled out experience. Next up, it's Door Kickers. This is a real-time strategy game that puts you in command of your own SWAT team during tense interventions. You will need to plan your approaches, choose equipment, and coordinate multiple team members as you meticulously blast your way through objectives. If you like a nice strategic game, then this is definitely one that you're going to want to enjoy. Now, it's one of my favourite genres that I have a massive soft spot. Yes, card games and RPG elements thrown in. And this is Dungeontop. It's a fresh roguelike deck building game with tabletop battles thrown into the mix. You get to choose your hero, pick an allegiance, and then dive into procedurally generated dungeons as you battle beasts and evolve your deck of cards to survive. A really cool game, perfect this summer. If you've ever wanted to kickflip a car, then get behind the wheel in this high-octane stunt driving game. Yes, it's Rekt. Doing tricks is incredibly smooth. This one runs at 60 frames per second, and it's easy to learn and pick up, but hard to master. You've got to get your landing right and power slide into the next trick for those combos. It's a great game to play with your mates in local co-op, but there's quite a lot to engage you in single player as well. There are a bunch of different cards to get, and I really like the polygon style graphics. There's also a bunch of different modes, including Baja, Virus, and so you're not going to run out of things to do when your mates do come over. Tharsis is a turn-based space survival strategy game where the outcomes and actions are based on dice rolls and difficult moral decisions. This is about space, dice, and cannibalism. There's a mysterious signal coming from the Tharsis region of Mars, which sets your crew of astronauts off on a risky mission. Who sent it and why? Impossible questions, but your fate is sealed on finding out. Now, millions of miles away from home, a micro-meteoroid storm damaged your spaceship and killed 2 vital members of your crew. The mission is no longer just discovery, but to survive the journey with those still left around. Tharsis is built around a unique mix of board game and video game mechanics, and the outcomes of your choices are determined by rolls of the dice, but ultimately it's up to you and your decisions that will affect the mission's success. This is a really cool adventure, and I definitely recommend this one highly. And there's our picks. What are you most tempted by? Do let us know in the comments down below. Now, there's also a very chunky giveaway from Qubic with 40 codes up for grabs, so be sure to check out the site for info on how to enter. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care.